Hey guys, this is Maker of Beauty, and today I want to spend some time talking about the importance of organizing your files, your projects, and all of your tools on your laptop to just help yourself to not waste time when you're trying to recall a project or if you want to recreate something again. So my preferred tools are OneNote, and I just want to show you how I have it organized. So as you can see it, I use it quite extensively, but we're going to concentrate specifically on my Maker of Beauty. So I break everything down in the pages, and then within the pages, right, I will have essentially like the sub pages. Um, and so I tried to write it out as much as I can. Like, for example, when I was setting up my PowerPoint classes, I actually wanted to write it out first what I was going to say. And so as you can see, right, I have a section for the PowerPoint class, and then the same thing for the flower making, and the same thing for centers. And then I have my projects, right? And in the projects, I just plug it in and put it in all of the small things that I need to buy. And then I break it down where I need to buy it. In some of my other projects, for example, I think it was the wooden one. Yes, I even have the Amazon links to it right away. So when I do the research, or sometimes when you're in a group and you saw like a great a conversation about something and people recommend like really good products, or the process worked very well, and you like what you see in a picture, it can get very easy to get lost, and to remember like where you saved it. So what I will do, I'll go back between my OneNote and a Facebook, and I'll toggle and I'll write it in all the information. As you can see, like I have it here because I have so many things juggle in my mind. For me, the best thing to do is to have it written down. And then I have something that I keep for the fonts, obviously, all the freebies, for example, all of the websites where you can go and grab the SVGs. So you kind of get an idea. And the nice part about the why I like OneNote is that you can actually type it in the words, right? Like, for example, epoxy, and it'll take you straight on that page. Or, for example, I'm just going to type it in font, and it shows me everything that is, has the word font in it. And then from there, it's easier for me to navigate. So that's one thing that I like to keep for um, projects and just kind of like, ongoing thing. My other favorite tool is saving everything on my Google Drive. I have tons of stuff that I create myself. I have tons of pictures, right? And so I prefer to use Google Drive as opposed to Dropbox, for example. I'm just a very long time Google Drive user, so that's what I naturally go to. And I think I at this point I have like the medium of the plan. I want to say I have like 1 terabyte, and I've already consumed half of it, is because I generate a lot of videos, and they eat space like you won't believe it. In any case, we're going to concentrate on my main folder for the creative business, right? So um, I utilize folders and subfolders, and then the subfolders like within that. So for example, if you're gonna go to flowers, right? Here I have my main folders, and then within those, I have it as a subfolders. Um, so the reason I prefer to do the 0 1s, or doing the numbering convention, is that it allows me to control how they display and the order in which my folders display, right? So because I spent most of the time in a flower one, I want it to be on a very first time, on a very first tab. Whereas, if I didn't have the zero number convention, it would organize it for me either alphabetically, or you would organize it for me by the date and so on and so forth. None of this which would work for me. I wanted this one to always be the very first one. And so as I work on it, right, it's the brain ends up like sort of wiring itself where to go there on autopilot, and that works for me beautifully every single time. And then, for example, for my, let's go into my graphics, right? in my graphic ones, I have it broken it out by the bigger things. For example, like there's a lot of background. So I mean, background is a big one, right? And so whenever I download new freebies, so if I buy something, like I know that that one I'm going to unzip it directly into my background if it has something to do with the background. And then all my, like the print and cut and just SVGs, I drop them by themselves. I also break it down by the artist, right? If somebody's, like, for example, I love Monica's stuff. So I highly recommend her. She's got some amazing things, right? And so I have grabbed a couple of projects from her. And so I have a folder dedicated to her, because she has this sort of like specific thing that she does. And like I know in my mind what I'm looking for to do, and I know, like, which of the people will have that SVG, and so when I plug it in everything in her folder, it's easy for me to find it. And then lastly, I wanted to talk specifically about the paper flowers, right? So um, as as if you are someone who has a whole bunch of the templates, I don't know, what the naming convention you utilize. For example, if you buy templates from some artists, right? Like they like to call it my morning rose, like my morning dew, and so on and so forth. I don't do that because I have so many templates. For me to just do template 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's just like the easiest. And yes, I do have that many templates. As a matter of fact, I actually have a whole lot more. I just need to convert them out. Any case, so once I have my template, right, whether I've created myself or, in the past, like I've bought it twice from different people, this is how I handle it directly in a design space. In Because the design space doesn't have, unfortunately, a foldering structure, and it literally just has every single one of your projects as its own, folder. What I do is I incorporate the name of the template and the size of the paper that I used directly in the naming convention of the project. So for example, I know that, if I to click on this one, what I'll be getting to is the template number 8, and it had been set up to cut on the 8.5 by 11 paper. Also, when I started off, a couple of years ago, I also used to incorporate the size of the petal in here as well. So let's just quickly go into the template, and I'm going to resave it under something else. So I'm just going to do the customize, and I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to, okay, so let me unattached to detached just so that I can see how much my petals, what's a height. Okay, that doesn't look like I've grabbed my largest. Let me attach this back again, and let me detach this one. Okay, so this one is approximately 6 feet tall. I mean, six inches, which tells me that this was going to be around 12-inch rose, right? And I mean a 12-inch flower. And the way I'm calculating it is a 12-inch petal on each side plus my base that is at least 6 inches. In total, it's going to give me 18 before all of the curling and cutting. And then depends on which way you're gonna curl or cut this. You could possibly look at the 12-inch flower to maybe 16 inches, which is medium, right? And so then the way I would save my project is, I would say, well, it's template 8, right? Or to save on a space to be able to see even more, you can do like T8 S medium, like you could do SM, which would stand for size medium, or you can do size, if you want to go directly by the length of your first petal, of your largest petal, then you would say, you know, size 6. You could maybe also do like 6I, which they would stand for 6 inches, and then 8.5 by 11, you know, that's an indication then that you're saving it as you know, you're specifically saving it to be cutting it on 8.5 by 11. The reason it was important for me to be calling it out the size of the paper is that I have either 12 by 12 or 8.5 by 11, and those are two different setups. And in order to make sure that I didn't lose my work and I'm easy to recreate and I'm able to differentiate the two, I always include the size of the paper. So any case, these are just some of the tips that I have for you guys. I hope you find them useful. If you have any feedback for me, I'd love to hear back from you. All the best. Take care.